What must I sacrifice to make you care? What must I sacrifice to make you care? What must I sacrifice to make you care? Oh, what must I sacrifice to make you care? Breathing in a clean air spared by our trees, I'm a child running free, looking for an elder to help me extend the reach of my dream. Basking under mountains that bring our ego to its knees, and if it's hard for you to speak, you don't need to leave. Don't step outside your ease, there's a home where you can simply be. Breathing in a clean air that still allows for us to breathe, though we walk with nations' bones below our feet. She ran through the rubble, see the northern lights, colors slowly fading, swaying back and forth like the spirits were fainting, but faint energy is hard to achieve. A cold runs up our spine and reminds us of our creed. Lakes kiss our toes to thank us for our deeds, and we ponder on our deeds, are we deserving of this peace? And we ponder on our deeds, are we deserving of this peace? My name is Mustafa, and I was born and raised in Toronto. Born and raised in Regent Park, which is Canada's first and largest housing project. And I want to talk about inclusivity. Not about inclusivity, not about silence mistaken as inclusivity, not about you swallowing your preconceived notions and then reaching a place of inclusivity because you don't want to have the difficult conversations. But I want to talk about fearless, intentional inclusivity. The one that makes your stomach turn because you don't know what to say or how to say it, but you know that there is a conversation that is necessary, a conversation that has to happen. I was once at Yonge and Dundas, which is one of the busiest intersections in the country. And I was walking and cars were stopped at the red light, and I seen a man in a truck roll down his window and look at a lady with a niqab. And for those of you that don't know, this niqabi woman, the niqab is a head covering and a face covering for the Muslim woman. Not obligatory, but a lot of Muslim women do it in good faith, like my aunt does back home in Sudan. And he looked at this woman and he said, "Everyone, look at that terrorist over there. Look at that terrorist. Look at that terrorist. Is someone not going to stop that terrorist?" And he's laughing, and he did it with it's a big white man, bearded white man. He's screaming at this woman. And before, I was 17 years old, and I was just shocked. I was just stopped in my tracks. I wasn't really used to this, and I didn't know what to do, and I was just trying to collect myself, collect my emotions, and I didn't know to approach him or to approach her. And before I knew it, the light switched from red to green, and he was well along his way. And I went to this woman in an effort to comfort her. And I said, "Are you okay? Is everything okay?" And she looked at me, and I could see the fear in her eyes. And she said, "Where's the terrorist? Is the terrorist near?" And I looked at her, and I was like, "Excuse me, I'm sorry," because I was taken aback, and I didn't really know. I was like, "Sorry." She's like, "Where's the terrorist?" She's like, "There's the man who's talking about terrorist." And I realized in that moment that we all share the same fears, you know? And I looked at her and I said, "There is no terrorist. He's just a crazy man." I'm like, "I'm happy that you're okay." I'm like, "You okay to go?" She's like, yeah, I'm okay." And I realized in that moment that inclusivity is not going to be a battle for us. We all share the same fears. We all share the same concerns. But what happens when we don't allow for those inside voices to create a conversation, those inside voices are felt everywhere. They're felt at the workplace. They're felt in classrooms, and they're felt in restaurants. Just because you are swallowing those preconceived notions, just because you are swallowing that voice doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It sits in the pit of your stomach, and we feel it. We feel the divide. I live in Regent Park, which is Canada's first and largest housing project. And it is a 5-minute walk from that incident. It is a 5-minute walk from the busiest intersection in downtown Toronto. Yet we are considered East Downtown. You go to Vancouver, and the inner cities of Vancouver are considered East Downtown, but it is just a block difference between Central Downtown and East Downtown. This language that we use to separate ourselves, to create this divide, that is detrimental to communities. How are we embracing our communities? How are we allowing for ourselves to see the country as a whole, to see all the classes as a whole? How are we going to separate a 4-minute walk by saying one is considered East Downtown and one is considered Central Downtown? This constant othering of communities is what destroys us. I once sat with the corporation, with the community members, and with the media in an effort to understand the revitalization that my community was undergoing. And the vice president of the corporation looked and said, I think it's incredible. We're bringing aquatic center to Regent Park. We're bringing a cultural center to Regent Park. We're bringing Native Earth Performing Arts to Regent Park. We are bringing Toronto to Regent Park. And he was like, it's incredible. We're literally bringing this city into Regent Park, as if Regent Park exists in an island of its own. We are in the heart of the city. And how does he fail to recognize that Regent Park is inside Toronto? It is insane, but these are the conversations that need to happen. Why is it that he looked at me when I said, do you not understand that Regent Park is inside Toronto, that you are othering my community, and you are isolating my community and making us feel like we cannot integrate? I was on Metro Morning with Matt Galloway, and right before I started to speak, he was assessing a poll that said 68% of Canadians believed that immigrants and newcomers need to do a better job of integrating into mainstream Canadian society. What the hell is mainstream Canadian society? And second thing is you see our efforts to try and integrate, but if you don't even see our communities as a part of the cities, how are we ever going to integrate? If the geography, we are already drawing lines and divides. So my conversation and what I think is going to create a better Canada is going to start by bridging the gap between communities and bridging the gaps in even geography. Etched on our hands are the maps of our homelands. We are nomads that found shelter in the stars, aspiring to be, born into oxygen that reminds us to breathe. We speak our thoughts into the air. We refuse to let the winds forget our voices and our names. We repeat them until it whispers back. And we'll cut through the wind's path like the cuts on our palms to remind it that it can always have a change of direction if things go wrong. Etched on our hands are the maps of our homelands. Etched on our hands are forgotten love notes. Etched on our hands are forgotten love notes. Etched on our hands is a guide to survival. Tears in our palms. We spoke, we screamed, we held on for this long, so that even when we sleep, the winds will continue whispering our songs, changing directions with our pain. We won't let it forget our names. Please don't let yourselves forget each other's names. Thank you.